Fife Flyers TV, sponsored by the Bay Hotel, Fife's premier wedding venue.
Well, I mean, I think the message to the guys was, stick with it. For the last 3-4 weeks, we've played some very, very good and competitive hockey, and we've just been getting better and better. And you look on a Saturday night where I would have hoped for a better result, obviously, but it didn't happen. But you don't want to let that get you down. And I know that the boys were obviously deflated after that defeat, and I think the first half of that period, you could see we looked a little flat. But I have to admire their pushback, because it appeared to me as the game went on, we got stronger and stronger. And, we pushed, the possible league champions right to the end. It was another decent performance. I understand that, there's a few issues that we need to sort. Obviously the power play was ice cold this weekend, which is something that is obviously disappointing. I mean, ironically, the last couple of weeks we've been hovering up around average second best special teams in the league, but this weekend, particularly in the Braehead game, I thought we got a lot of good looks. We hit a couple posts. There was pucks laying around the net. We just couldn't find them dropping on sticks. And tonight, well, I mean, we came up against the hottest penalty kill in the league, and they certainly showed that. Our first couple power plays, we were having a hard time even entering the zone. Once we settled in and got that support, a couple decent looks, but they were fronting shots great, and we were having a hard time getting pucks through. Just couldn't get pucks through to the net.
And it took Chris Wan's goal tonight to really kind of sort of lift the roof off the place and inspire the guys. And that last sort of 10 minutes of hockey was quite, kind of, I think, what the fans have been looking for all night.
Absolutely, and you could see it's flashes of it, right? So when we get in, like when Brooksy gets in on that forecheck and he lays a hit, even Sisk, he gets in on the forecheck there. The crowd, I've said this numerous times too, the crowd are looking for that type of passion and performance. I'm pretty happy for Wando. I mean, I've known the guy for a long time, and he has his ups and downs in the elite league, but the bench jumped up. It did give us a lot of legs, and you're right, it got awful loud in here, and then we pushed them hard towards the end, but just came up short again, and then no point weekend hurts.
Can you put your finger on what it is that was lacking this weekend?
Well, I think that you look at the bad bounces, right? So last night we kicked the second goal into our own net. I mean, how many times does that happen, right? Tonight we bobble a puck behind the net on the power play, and they score a tap in shorthanded. I mean, and that ends up being the difference in the hockey game. You give up those goals. One bounced funny on Phil last night. I think it was that number 4, and it's just you make your own luck, and I know that, and I hate standing up here making excuses to you. I just think this weekend that it's a shame, because I'm not standing here for saying, oh, we needed to do this better, we needed this. I actually thought we played and competed well all weekend. We just couldn't find a way past the goaltenders enough, and B, a couple bad bounces and you lose the hockey game.
Next weekend, it's a double home weekend, so a better chance of getting the 4 points again.
Well, I think it's important that obviously there's a couple things that we'll want to discuss with the guys, and we really have to regroup for this Nottingham game, or this Edinburgh game and Nottingham game. Both come into this building, and we have to feel that with similar performances, a few things tweaked, and come out with them with that aggression and hold that for 60 minutes. We would have to fancy our chances, but obviously, pucks are going to land on sticks. They just have to keep working hard, and I think people have to will appreciate the performances guys put in. It just wasn't the results this weekend.
And just the final couple, Ryan Dingle out tonight, was that precautionary or is it another injury?
100% precautionary. I think that the last time we brought him back into the lineup, I rely heavily on Ryan, and he's the leader of the club, and he doesn't play the game by halves. Our priority for the weekend, certainly before the weekend started, was the Braehead game, and we threw him into that before the weekend even started. I had a good discussion with him and our physio and doctors, and we thought that if we give it a progression of one game this weekend and then roll into the next, I think it's 5 games in 8 or 9 nights. So he's going to be used a lot, and this is not an injury I want to see recurring for the rest of the season. So it was a tactical decision, and one for Ryan's long-term health and for him, being healthy for the rest of the season. I think it was the smart move.
And you've got that luxury now of carrying an extra import, so you can do things like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that we've never had as a healthy scratch before. So resting Ryan was, like I said, the smart move.
And just finally, Phil Paquette, man of the match tonight. Just a few words on his performance.
Well, Phil knows my thoughts on him as a player and as an individual. I think he's quality on both sides. Phil is a guy who leaves it out there every night he goes out. I'm a big fan of his, and I think that was a well-deserved man of the match tonight.
The Bay Hotel, where your dream wedding becomes reality. Visit us at thebayhotel.net.